Welcome to PreciousMetalsInvesting.com. My name is Ted Sudol. I have the pleasure of having as my guest today Paul Mladjenovick. Paul is the author of Precious Metals Investing for Dummies. He also has his own website, ravencapitals.com. We're talking to you post-election in November. To those of you on the East Coast who suffered in Hurricane Sandy, we offer you our prayers and our best wishes. We will be back since we are in New Jersey, we will be back in the studio with the next episode.
Yeah, exactly, but it's so sandy too. So good to be back, and welcome to all.
Right, okay. So I think that, the election results are in. Some people are happy about it, some people aren't as happy about it. But I think for our viewers here at Precious Metals Investing, what we want to do is we want to help you prepare for the future.
Exactly, and when you take a look at the election results, basically what Americans voted for was, no matter how you slice it, the status quo. Same president, same configurations in Congress. And the thing is, before the election, America was heading into difficulty. High unemployment, high deficits, tremendous spending and debt. And so therefore what the election result says, keep it going, baby. That's basically what the point is. So whether we like it or not, whether we agree with these things or not, we deal with reality. And my thinking is that what's going to happen the next, 6, 12, 18 months is the only thing that the government can really do to help quote-unquote boost the economy is going to basically be, just continued expansion of the currency and try to flood the economy with liquidity. When you hear about QE2 and QE3 and QE4 and QE to infinity, these things are going to be ramped up. Because the idea is that if you want the economy to do better, you flood it with more money. And, that might have been true would look like it was true in the past. The idea about this is some kind of elixir to increase growth. No, all it's going to do is increase prices. That's all it's going to be. Because at the economic level, businesses are struggling. Unemployment is still at radically high levels. And considering the taxes and regulations that are coming, that are in the pipeline now, alrighty, there's going to be continued suffering. I actually see that unemployment will rise to higher levels in 2013. I think business bankruptcies will also be on the rise. It is a perilous time, for the U.S. economy, and so we have to prepare on many levels.
I think that whether you're a Republican or a Democrat and have a belief in those philosophical systems, one of the things that you can't argue about is you can't argue about math. And as has been said several times in the political process, the math doesn't add up.
Exactly.
And now if you're going to print up lots of money, history has shown us whenever a government has done that, that's resulted in the currency being devalued, sometimes to the point where the currency collapses. If you're going to be dealing with a society, living in a society where the value of your currency is going down, prices are going up, you want to find basically safe havens to invest in that can preserve your wealth.
Exactly, and look at the dynamics on many levels here. First of all, we now have in America the highest levels of dependency, certainly in modern history. I mean, the number of people who are dependent on the government, which in turn is dependent on the taxpayer, is been skyrocketing. Just food stamps alone is up 50% in the last 4 years. And on the business side, because many of the regulations and taxes coming will just add more difficulty to businesses. You've already seen them. Many businesses have announced that they're going to not be able to keep up with the pending increases in taxes and penalties, etc. And the layoffs are starting to accelerate. So as more and more people are laid off, in the private sector, what does it mean? Employees that were taxpayers before are no longer taxpayers, and they're going to move to this column, the level of and the number of people who are dependent because they have to get by. That's going to increase dramatically. So more and more people who are receiving benefits, and there's less and less people who have the ability to pay for the benefits, What does that tell you? The deficits will be skyrocketing. And the end result will be to mitigate some of this or deal with some of this. The government, through the central bank or the Federal Reserve, is going to be printing up tons of money in this regard. So then you come in a situation where not only are you going to quote unquote fall into a recession, and I think we're right now in the midst of a long-term depression, because I think if it was reported properly, we're in a depression. But now the second leg is going to kick in and make it an inflationary depression, which is something we've never seen in America, but it looks like it's on its way given the dynamics that are happening right now before us. Unless something miraculous changes the path, this is where we're headed right now. So this is a big concern, and it should be for all of us.
And I think that you have to think about perhaps some of the unforeseen consequences of some of the monetary policies. For instance, holding the interest rates artificially low may benefit some people. However, when you think about it, there are also some people who depend on high interest rates. For instance, if you are a retiree, your pension plan, the returns on your pension plan probably depend upon getting a high interest rate from bonds or other sources of income. So if the pension fund is not getting the rates of return that it expects, either one of two things have to happen. Either the benefits have to be reduced, or if it's a company that's still in business, they have to take more out of their profits to put more into fund their pensions. So you may feel that, well, I'm safe because I'm getting government pension and I have my private pension. Well, your private pension may not be around in the same form that you expect it to be. Just in giving you a personal example, one of my pensions sent me a letter recently that said that they were seriously underfunded, and unless I applied for my benefits within 30 days, I would receive a 75% reduction in those benefits. Well, I called them up and I said, well, rather than taking a 75% cut in those benefits, can I apply early and get a reduced benefit? And they said, well, you're too young to get the benefits. So I'm in a position where many of you may be, where you've paid into a pension for quite some time, gotten a comforting feeling that you have a cushion behind you, and somebody pulled the cushion out.
Exactly. So the bottom line is, for everybody in today's economic environment, and what certainly we expect, especially since the logical flow of these things are not that difficult to decipher where they're going, it's going to be a very rough time for a lot of folks, and rough time for the economy. And for me, I think that the watchword which I've told people over recent years continues probably louder than ever before. What do we tell people? First of all, we mentioned gold and silver. You should have that to protect yourself from the pending inflation. You should also try to become as self-sufficient as possible in your situation to help shield you from some of these things. There are people out there who are dependent, millions of people dependent on systems, both government, corporate, and otherwise, that could very easily start to break down in this environment, which means that people will be at risk. So I don't care if you're retired or not retired, whether you're getting pensions or not getting pensions, start taking your time and effort to become more independent. You try to become yourself as self-reliant as possible, because this is going to benefit you until we get to the other side of this. It's not going to be a good picture the next few years. I think it'll be some of the catastrophic events I think are baked into the cake.
And I think that just about all of the people who closely follow the precious metals are expecting a continuing bullish run-up in the precious metals value, especially as the conditions that we're experiencing accelerate, and people become more and more aware that precious metals are something that will hold a lasting value no matter how much money Timothy Geithner prints up.
Well, the thing is this. I think probably in today's environment, we talk about precious metals not because we foresee this being as a path to riches for you. Look, if these things do skyrocket, and I do expect them to go up in due course, some people who play it the right way could very well get rich. But the real point that it's there is for reasons of safety, because look, gold and silver have a track record that goes back thousands of years of retaining value. The real risk is not owning precious metals. I mean, because I want to be part of your total picture. You should be diversified. Talk to your financial advisors about diversification. And you want to be diversified away from paper assets and paper currencies, and having a small portion of your portfolio in gold and silver, again, to be diversified and be safe about it. But the thing is that, a lot of folks who have most of their wealth tied up into paper assets, currency, savings accounts, stocks, bonds, and other paper vehicles, look, as they try to mitigate things with printing up more money, there's going to be a currency crisis of an order of magnitude, and more than one across the board. I think the euro is going to have some difficulty. And other currencies that have been overproduced, and overused, is that, look, when you overproduce a currency, what does it mean? Does it make the currency more valuable if you make it, each individual unit of it is going to be less valuable? So this is a real risk, and you need to mitigate that. Owning things, hard assets, having a pantry, among other things. These are things that are going to be part of your parcel of your total preparation, so that overall you'll be much safer than if you didn't do these things in the coming years.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being with us today at preciousmetalsinvesting.com. We want to wish all of our viewers here a happy Thanksgiving, because although there may be some problems on the horizon, there are a lot of things to be thankful for.
Yeah, and we're thankful that we have the ability to do what we can in the following year. And listen, God bless your family, and let's make it all through this safe and sound. Be well.
Thank you.